Hello, can you hear me? Hey Rajat. Hey, hey. Hello. Hi Rajat, can you hear me? Sanket, can you hear me? Checking the mic if it works. Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, 11, watching now. Yeah. Hi guys, good morning everyone. Oh, I think we are gonna start in a while. Let's wait 5 more minutes. Yes, nice. Hi Jai Krishna. Hi Bobby. We're gonna wait for 5 more minutes before we start off with it. So yeah, just bear with me. Hey Vasant, how are you? Guys, if you have any questions during the duration of this workshop, I might not be able to reply to them instantly because there's a certain amount of lag before it comes up on my screen. So like I just put it on the chat after the session ends. I'll maybe take a look at it, and if I can, I'll try to answer all of them. So yeah, don't get mad at me if I don't respond to someone, because A, it doesn't come up instantly, and B, I might not know the answers as well. So yeah. Okay. How many of us are there? There are 19 people. Let's wait for 3 more minutes before we start off. Let me put my phone on silent. I don't want my friends disturbing me here. Give me a sec. Okay, there are 30 of us. Hi guys, how are you? I ask every one of you to just say hi when you join the stream so that I have a fair idea of how many people are here and if you're good to start off. Hello Dipti. Okay guys, so I'll probably be starting off right now. So what I want us all of us to do right now is open the Svelte homepage, which is the link which I've opened right now. I think it should be there in the description as well, the Svelte tutorial link. So that basically opens up the homepage. Okay, so many hi's. Hi Pushkar, hi Kristen, hi Dave, hi Kinyas, hi Jose. So yeah, let's open that link and we'll get started. I think we are 39 people now, which is a good number, and it's 11:35. So yeah, we are going to start off right now. Okay, so what is Svelte? Svelte, as the website, the official website says, is a boilerplate-less framework, boilerplate-less JavaScript framework, which does not rely on virtual DOM. The main difference between Svelte and other frameworks like React and Vue is that it does not rely on virtual DOM. It does the changes as in rendering and all without relying on virtual DOM. And also the good thing about Svelte is that there is very less boilerplate code with Svelte. Very less, as in there is basically no boilerplate code. As in, if you know JavaScript, you are good to go. You are good to start off with Svelte. So that's very easy. And also there are certain parts of Svelte which are very similar. I wouldn't say same, but I'd say they're very similar to React. So if you are, I'm saying React because I've been working on React for a while now. So if you know React, if you've worked on React, this is something which you will find very similar to React, as in some certain parts of it which you're like, okay, this is how they do it in React, this is how it's done on Svelte. Okay, so these are a couple of articles written in their official blogs which you can go through. I will not go through them right now because every one of us can read. So you should probably do that. And also there's this article saying why virtual DOM is not as good as people make it out to be. So yeah, go through this one as well. But yeah, that's the theory part of it. But then if we are going to start off with it, I'll just let me read any of the chats. Okay, nothing there. Yeah, so we are going to start off with it. So there's a link in the video description. If you look at it, there's a Svelte tutorial link. That is basically the REPL guide that Svelte has in its official website. So this is where we get started from, and we get started off with the very popular hello world. Okay, is there a problem with the audio? One second, I think there's a problem with the audio. Okay, now all good, it's changed now, that's fine. Okay, so yeah, this is the hello world app that we have here right now, as in like all the basic, like every framework you start off with, your first programming language, whatever you did, you probably did a hello world. And then the first thing we do is then replace the world with our name. So that's what I'm going to do here right now. So to do that, okay, we just like any JavaScript app, we have a script tag, and then let's call it a name. The name will be John. Okay, and I'll say hello name, not Bean, sorry. Yeah, hello John. So this is how it looks like, as in if you want to dynamically have, if you want to have dynamic values there, that's how we do it. We give names, as in we give constants, we define them as let. If we want to change them, if we do not want to change them, we can set it to const. So we all know that how we do this in JavaScript, we have let and const. So yeah, that's there. So yeah, that is the first, I think, part of getting started with Svelte. So now we'll all do everyone's favorite. I think every framework has a counter example where we have a counter and we click on a button and the count starts piling up. So that's what we'll do here as well. So let's have a constant, as in a variable called count. Now it will be let because I'll be changing the count, and let's say a p tag. I'll have a p tag which will tell me that count is okay, thanks, the audio seems to be good. Count is 0, and then I'll have a button which will say add count, and on click, which is similar to React, which in the sense that React also has on click, we probably write it like that. So here it is on colon click, and then we'll have a function, we'll call it add count. So let's define the function here in our app. So const add count will be count becomes count plus 1. I think this should work. Yes, it does. So yeah, this is how we do it in React. I just keep giving references to React because I'm so used to React. But yeah, add count is a function here. We can also write this as function, I think, add count. Yeah, and then just copy the whole thing here and paste it there. And this should work as expected. See? Yes, it does. But yeah, I prefer the ES6 syntax, but it's up to you however you want to do it. So yeah, that's 1 second. There's a question in chat. 1 second. Okay, there's a question which asks me, is there a reason why we put the script tag on top? We can actually put it after a DOM as well. I see no reason why that should fail. Yeah, it works as well. It works anyway. Actually, I put it in between button and the paragraph tag and it still works, but I don't think you should do that. But yeah, you can put it at the start or at the end. It doesn't matter. Same goes for style tags, which we'll go into later, as in we can have style tags here as well. But yeah, we'll do that later. So yeah, now we have got our counter example and our hello world example, and we have also seen how we can change the value of count. Oh my god, 1 second. Yeah, so we can change the count. We have seen how a hello world works. So right now, the what we have changed here is a primitive, as in this is a primitive value. Let's now check how we change objects and arrays. Okay, let's start off with an object. Let me have a person, sorry, person with the name of test. I'm sorry for the name, but yeah, age of 42, and then let me make it add age. Okay, then this example, let me just change the age here as well. So then in plain JavaScript, how would we do it? Person becomes, we'll spread the person up, and then add person dot age becomes +1. So it tells me there's an unexpected token. Where might that be? 1030. Where is it? Okay, where is dot age equals to happening person comma first, oh sorry, age equals person dot age +1. Oh my god, I don't know, I don't think this is how it goes. How is it? Can anyone help me here? I think it's a very plain syntax. What is it? Let me look at the questions. HTML starts with the guys, I'll take a look at these questions later. Let me just fix this age thing up here. I don't know what I'm missing here. So person dot age. Can someone help me here in the comments? I think I'm missing something very basic here. Spread the person. Yes, of course. I'm sorry. Does this work? Person dot age versus equals to her doing fine with previous year. Okay, let me just log person dot age. Sorry about that. Person dot age. Yes, it becomes 1. So here, if I want to change the, it will become person dot age +1. If I were to add age, yeah, I think I was doing this, I don't know why. I was probably doing an equal to there. But yeah, now if I go above, it works as expected. So yeah, that's how we change object values. It's the same as we do in React. I see a comment here which says, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm using colon here. I was using equal to, yeah. Yeah, so that's how we change objects here. Instead of while doing a primitive value like a boolean or text or number, we just change it directly, while for doing for objects and arrays we spread it. Okay, so now let's look at something like Svelte also gives us reactivity, as in when we do something like, if we come from a React background, we'll see that we have this use effect hook, where within the params, where within the, like, there's an array where we can put in certain parameters, giving that, okay, execute this code when this parameter changes. So this is what Swell does, something very similar to that, where we have a colon, I'm sorry, it's not a colon, it's a dollar sign, and then we can have our the condition here, whatever changes. So person dot age plus, if person dot age is greater than say 45, I want to show an alert saying too old. This should work if I do it 1 2 3. Yes, that works. So yeah, this is how we do it. Instead of use state, sorry, use effect, this is where we check for reactivity, as in if we put this outside of this reactivity block, I don't think it's going to work. Let's check it out. But yes, it doesn't. So if we are to check actively for any changes in our state, I keep calling it state because this is what we call it in React. But yeah, this, say, suppose is my state, and I want to execute some function or do anything based on certain changes in the state of our app. So this is how we do it. We put it inside the reactivity reactivity dollar, I call it. But yeah, there's, if you go through the documentation here, I think this is somewhere here, reactivity assignments declaration statements, it will be there. So yeah, this is how we check if a person is too old. But you can do anything you want to inside that block. So yeah, that's there. After that, let's see, the next thing which I'm going to talk about right now is components, how we have components in Svelte. So let's create a component here. I'll call it person person.svelte. Person.svelte will have two paragraphs, which will say person's name is, say, X, will come back to it later, and then person's age is Y, and then let's define these values here, as in let name is equals to Jill, let age is equals to 29, right? It won't be a comma, of course. So yeah, person's name is name and age will be age. Let me look at the comments once. Inside blocks to communicate when I mention confuse if statement directly a specific purpose. One way to compare previous statements. Sanket, thank you so much for answering all the questions. I'll come back to the chat section later. I'll keep coming back. But yeah, anything inside your computer. Yeah, actually, any questions you have, Sanket is probably going to answer, and he's going to do it better than me. So yeah, that's there. Okay, so now I have person's name and person's age here. I'll use this person component inside the main app, inside our main app component. So if I import person from, I think, person.svelte, it should work. Yeah, not person, sorry. Yeah. Okay, we have person's name and person's age. Let me get rid of the button and hello world here. Okay, we have person's name is Jill and person's age is 29. Let's say I want to change the name here. Let's make it Jack and age is 36, or it doesn't change. So now the person component doesn't know that it will accept props from its parent. So for us to let Svelte know that okay, this is a component which will take props, we need to export our props. So how do we export our props? We just, in before we define our variables, we just export them. So yeah, I exported a name and age. So yeah, now Jack is 36 years old. So now I've changed it successfully. And can move the script to, yeah, I've got a couple of friends, they are commenting. So yeah, this is the name and this is the age, as in I can pass it from my parent as well. This is the this is my parent. So I've got, I can also spread the props here. I think, yeah, I have person. I think I can just pass the props like this, as in spread it, not like this. I think, yeah, we can spread the props as well, very similar to React. So person here is test and his age is 42. So this is how we do it, as in spread the props. Spreading works very similar to how we do it in React. Yeah, so after that, okay, let's talk about conditional rendering. Suppose if I do not want to give an age here, okay, then it defaults to the default prop, as in the initial age that we give it. So suppose for a component we don't want it to have a default prop, as in a default age, when we don't send one. So here, if it doesn't have a default prop, it says that person's age is undefined. But what we want right now is to not render the age block at all when the person doesn't send in an age, right? So for that, how we do it in React would be something like, if we have age, then only show the p block, otherwise do not show. But that's not how it works in Svelte. In Svelte we have if blocks. So I think this is how, I'm sorry about this one. So this is how we start an if block. We put a pound sign and then if, then the condition, if age, then it should show up, and then I need to close the if tag. Yeah, so this is how we do it. So if age exists, we show this block, and if it does not, we do not show it. So this is very similar, as in like we have this syntax where we can define our conditions. If age is not there, we can also have an else block here. So for an else block, this is how else blocks work. We can have it there, it says empty block, so we need to give something here, no age. Okay, so if a person doesn't send in an age, we can default to the no age block, which gets rendered when there is no age, right? So now if I add the age back, 28, so yeah, now it comes up. Yeah, this is how conditional rendering works. Spread the props. Yeah, I spread the props, Harsh. That's how I did it. So okay, now we have got conditional rendering. We have looked at how components work, how props work. I've also messed up spreading the object while adding the age, but then thanks to all the comments here, I could fix that as well. Now something else. Okay, now we have to look at styling. Styling is very similar to your plain HTML and CSS, but plain CSS, but the one thing which is different here is that it is scoped styling, as in all the styles within person will stay with the person component itself and not come out of its scope, as in it won't pop back to the app Svelte. So let's test this out. I think I had style components typed there already. Let me just copy this here, and let's say I want the p tags to be a color of red. No, it doesn't take strings. Yeah, okay, so now that the p tags, all the p tags inside person is in red, but if I have a p tag in my main app here, let me just show it to you guys. No red. Yeah, that's how it happens. So this is scoped, this is component level scoping, as in it gets scoped within person itself. So here I can for this specific page, as in this specific component, I can have font size is equals to 22 pixels, which will be as in scope to app itself. But then we can also define global styling. Global styling works very similar, as in not similar, works something like this. We can give a colon and then say global and then wrap our tag inside this parenthesis. So now you can see that everything is 22 pixels big or large, whatever you call it, but then only the text inside person is in red, right? Okay, let me look at the comments. Spread operator is the word I can't paste it. Okay, there are a couple of comments here. Yeah. Okay, so as of now, what we have learned is we have learned components, we have learned state, changing styling, scoped styling, conditional rendering, right? So till now, are there any questions which I can look at? I'll be taking a brief pause here as I get some water. So put in your comments if there are any questions. I think Sanket is already answering them, but yeah, I'll take a look at them as well. So once this small break, as in 1 minute break, is done, we'll look at how. So right now what we have looked at, how we pass value from parent to child, right? So app is our parent, we have passed the data from parent to a child person. So now we want to pass it upwards, as in from the person to the app Svelte components. So that's what we'll do now. So if you have any questions, just ask me. Okay, yeah, maybe I was going too fast, so just ask me if you have any questions. Okay, Ashish wants to see conditional rendering once again. So yeah, this is how it works. Let me give a similar example of this in React. So in React it would be something like, if we have age, the age is age, and else b no age. Okay, so this is how 1 second, where did my places close? So yeah, this is how we do it in React. We check if there is an age, then we render the first block, the if block, and if there is no age, then we render the else block. So if we were to look at something, 1 second, yeah, if we were to look at it in Svelte, we check if age, which is basically the same as if age. It's just that we type it explicitly that, okay, if age exists, if the person has an age, we do it. If it does not, which is the else code, we say no age, right? But then it says unexpected token, because I've also typed in the ternary operator syntax here, which Svelte does not like. Okay, yeah, that should be good. I think I can move forward to the very small JavaScript concept for arrays, maybe organizational conditioning. I should try Svelte. Yes, Praveen, you should try Svelte. I also tried Svelte and it was good. It was easier compared to React, as in there are more difficult, as in complex concepts regarding stores, writable stores, readable stores. But that's not something I'm going to cover in this workshop, as in this core learning session. So okay, now let's move forward. As in, now we'll try to pass a value from person back to app. Okay, now let's see how that goes. So for that, we need to dispatch an action from the child component. For that, Svelte provides us with the event dispatcher function. Okay, so this is how it works. Like, let's see. Okay, I'll open up the tutorial. Event forwarding, I believe it is. Not exactly. Was it component events? Yes, this is it. So this is the dispatcher that Svelte provides out of the box. Let me put it inside the person. So this is our dispatch function, which gets created by the create dispatcher provided by Svelte. So now we need to attach this dispatch function to a certain event in the DOM. So that certain event could be a button here. Let me see how they did it. Let's just copy this example they've given to us. So person's name, person's age, we put it above the person. Click to say hello. So on click I need to give a say hello function, which is this, which I'll just copy over, and then okay, so the function here say hello says that dispatch the message event with the data of text. Okay, so our parents need to have an event called on message. So we can change it from message to say return return, right? What's happening? Oh my god, what is that here? Sorry, what's it changing? I don't know how this works, but yeah, anyways, so the return event in my parents should have this. So person on return what has happened, and something is broken. I don't know why everything's getting stopped here. Okay, I pressed my insert button here, sorry about that. So yeah, it doesn't even tell me handle return. So in my script, const handle return would probably take the event here. So let me console log the event, right? Message could not be cloned. Open DevTools to see it. Ask me to okay, it's object. So we have detail and text. So to check the value, we'll have to, I think, say event dot txt. I'm sorry about that, txt. Now it should come up. Okay, yeah. So now we have successfully sent the data, as in it was a hard-coded piece of data, as in hello was hard-coded from our side. So we had to pass the data from not the inner Svelte, I'm sorry, from the person component back to a app.svelte. So this is how we do it. We have this create event dispatcher, like dispatch creator from Svelte, and then we create our dispatch and then just dispatch our function. So we had return, the docs had message, so you can have your own event to which it will bind to, and then you can have it on your parent. So I think in React how we do it is use callbacks to pass the data from the child to parent. This is very similar to callbacks. So yeah, this is how we do it. Yes, Harsh, I think I didn't see the insert there. Okay, so I think now we know how to pass data from parent to child, child to parent. So what else was there to do? Okay, now instead of having the data come uh, from a hard-coded source, let me just try to do it from a text input. And while doing that, we'll also learn how text inputs work in React in Svelte. I'm sorry, and we don't call that text input. We can just call it input. This is the input, and then to this input I need to bind. This is how we, if you're confused where the syntax comes from, I'll tell you where it does bind value. So text input, if you look at the examples there, you can just click on show me instantly to see how it looks like. So yeah, input bind value, and this is the actual variable which you will change. So here if I write value, it becomes confusing, so I will not say. Let me just call it text. Okay. So yeah, this is your variable, and then input bind colon value just binds it to that input. It's like, what do we call it, two-way binding. We used to have it in Angular JS, where you could type and it would do it reactively without you having to do it. Like in React, you have to map the value back to the input, but you don't need to do that here. So where was I need to define text, right? So let text be an empty string, right? I don't need to export text here because text is something private to this component, the component's local state, and not something which needs to come from its parent. Okay. Let me get rid of all these if else's. I think it looks confusing in the code here. Person has an unused property name. I do not need name and text. New CSS selector. I do not have this as well. Okay, I think it looks a bit clearer now. Sorry. Click to say hello on click text. Okay, so now I'll just return the text instead of hello. So for that I can just get rid of this entire piece of code. I think, oh, I don't need to save it. I think this should do the trick for us. So instead of writing text colon text, I think this should do it. I haven't tested it yet. Person was created with an unknown prop. I don't know. TES testing name. Okay, it comes here. So we are able to send dynamic data from here as well, as in we can pass the text from a child component and then it comes here. And the warning which I was getting is because I was passing it certain props which it wasn't expecting. This was because I had removed those export values from there. So okay, I think if I say click, hello comes here. So we are good that way. Okay, Sanket asked me to clear it. I cleaned it there. Callbacks also just work fine. I'd love to use Svelte. Event dispatcher is a nice. Okay, Sanket says callback also works just fine. It should probably. Okay. Now I think does it look better, Sanket? I just have the button and the input here and nothing else. Let this be here for a while. People can take a look at it. What else was there on my list? Event dispatcher text input. Okay, now let's try to do an async request, as in, like, we have the data we have been working till now mostly has been data inside our the data local data and not something which we got from a server. But when we try to build apps, the data will mostly be coming from a server. So let's try to do something like that. Okay, so let me, sorry, not this one. So the button which I have, I do not need this. Let's come back to our app component. clean it up a bit. I do not need so much. I do not need handle return. I do not need everything. Not need anything rather. I can get rid of the styles as well. Okay, so sorry, this is the button. On click, say hello. I'll call it get data. Okay. So const get data would be, it has to be an async function. Const response would be await fetch. I'm going to use JSON placeholder for getting some random data here. Let me get some posts. It gives me 100 posts, which I don't need. I'll just take the first 10. Yeah, let me just get the first 10s, and then I think I need to convert it to JSON as well. So yeah, okay, let's put this in a state value. Let data, what does it return me? Gives an array. So let data be an empty array first, and then data will become await response.json. Alright, this should work. Let me log the data, log as in render the data here. So data dot zero dot, let me just render the title here. No, cannot find property undefined. Okay, that's because data is not defined yet. Okay, let's use our conditional rendering here. If data dot gth greater than 0, what is this? Okay, so if I have data, I'll render the title of the first post in my data array. So okay, it comes up. Okay, if we want to log the data here, we can see how the data object looks like, the data array rather. Okay, there's an array of 10 posts which I have. So yeah, that's there. Let me, okay, now that we have a array of 10 posts, let's try to render them in a list, like how we do it in React, as we use the map array function to render it in a list. Let me try to do it here using the Svelte inbuilt function, which is called an each function. So this one, just stay with me for this one. It will be each post in each post in data. Let me just look at the syntax here. Where was it? Lists. Where do we render lists? Should be here somewhere. Else if blocks, each blocks. If someone can look, someone can see it here, just point me to it, please. I cannot seem to find it. The organization, how it works. So 1 second. Where did it go? List. Can someone see a list? Anyone? Where was it? I can't seem to find it. Let me try it. each post in, I think it should be this. Looking for help in the comments. Each blocks, yes, each blocks, thank you so much. Yes, each blocks, there we are. Sorry about that. So each cats as cat. So what is cats here? Cats is our cat will be our data. So instead of data, let's make this posts, which will make it more easier for us to read. I don't need this. For each post in posts, I'll need to close the each. Did I not close the each? Let me look at the syntax here as well. Each post in post, we close the each. This is how we close the each, right? And if I each vectored as each posts as post. Okay. Okay, now each post as post. I do not need data 0. It will be post dot title. This will be post start length. Yes, thank you so much. This component was already destroyed. Let me just try logging it. Okay, cool. So this is how we do it. I was trying to do it for in loop. I was trying to use the for in loop syntax here, but yeah, this is how we do it for each posts as post. Posts is the original array, as in the data array that we have here. It was initially called data, but yeah, post is a better name. So for each post as post, this is the first, this is like each element in our array. So if we were to do it in JavaScript, thank you guys, thank you so much. This would be like post dot map post, and then this is how we would do it in React and in plain JavaScript as in post. Not exactly like this. We will probably get rid of this here and then have it here like this. But yeah, this is how we do it. But for Svelte, we just do it posts as post. Let's say another couple. Yeah. So yeah, post dot title, post is there. We can also destructure it here as well, so we can just call it title directly, and then let's see if it works when I say hello. Yes, it does. It works as expected. We can also send in the index, which will be something like this. So index, this will be the list number. So okay, 0 1 2 3, so it should ideally be index plus 1 because we start from 0. All right, so yeah, that's there. So we have also done async requests and rendering lists, although not as smoothly as I would have wanted it to be, but yeah, still we've got that in place now. So yeah, I think there's one more thing last which I need to do, is that right now the request which I'm doing is on click of the button. So I'd want that to happen when the component loads, right? And not right, as in like, what if I wanted to get called when the component loads and not wait for the click of the button, right? So for that, Svelte gives us these lifecycle methods. One of them is called onMount. Okay, if we take a look at this here, this I think I should be able to find easier. So import onMount from Svelte. Okay, this is the onMount function inside script. I would say onMount. I'll call get data, right? there's an unexpected token in line 12. Oh, sorry. One mount get data 12.1. What am I missing here? This. Okay, I think I did not close this bracket here. Yeah. Okay, so now the data got loaded before I could even click on the button. So it was so fast we didn't see it. So let me just get rid of the button to test it. Okay, yeah, that works. So this is how the lifecycle methods work, very similar to React, as in it's a mix of React hooks and the older class-based React. As in for React hooks we have this reactivity part, which is similar to use effect, and on mount is more like the older React when we used to do component did mount. We also have other lifecycle methods like after update, before update, yeah, on destroy, which are all, which pretty much do what they say on destroyed, as in after a component gets unmounted, and then after update is, I think, more in line with component did update, and before update I think is uh, used in place of component will update, which we used to have before, but they say that this is not something which will be used a lot. Has been used for running code function schedules work. So yeah, I'm not going to go into this as of now because I don't think I'm going to need this for the app which we are going to build. So yeah, I think this is it for the basics part of it. If you have any questions, I'll be taking a few questions in the chat as of now. So yeah, I'll be taking a few questions in the chat, and I'll also get started with the app right now. So for the app that I'm going to build, we will use Sapper here. So I ask all of you to just open up the Sapper website, just type Sapper in the browser and it should come up, and then we'll start building our app. Till then I'll take any questions if there are. Thank you guys, thank you so much for helping me. There are a couple of places where I just messed up, so yeah. Let me just open up my terminal here. Any questions? Okay, let's get started. So Sapper, let's just talk about Sapper for a while. Sapper is like, they say it's heavily inspired by Next.js, as in it provides routing out of the box, SSR, server-side rendering, and it's also very lightweight. They claim it to be, and I think it is. We have also built a Sapper dashboard, as in SB admin dashboard using Sapper, which is very fast. Yeah, we are going to use that. So the app which we are going to build right now, it's going to be a corona tracker, as in we are going to get data for all the countries, and look at the corona numbers, and then maybe try to build a graph using that. Svelte master, and then need to close, and then we'll probably try to build a chart using the data that we fetch. So yeah, for that we'll need to install Sapper. We could do it without Sapper as well. It could be just done with a basic Svelte app, but yeah, we'll just look at Sapper because we can, it will give us a taste of how the directory structures look like, how we have components, how routes are handled. So yeah, it will be a good starter point for us if you want to extend this app into something more meaningful. So yeah, let's just do it. So this is how we create an app. It's npx ticket, not all this. You need to copy this here. Instead of my app, let's call it go corona. Yes, this should create the basic app for me. Okay, so go Corona. Let me just navigate to my app, and then what does it say? It says npm install and then npm run dev. So I'll do the same. Yarn, I use yarn. You can use npm if you want to. I think yarn is a bit faster, so that's there. Okay, this is going to take some time, so if you have any questions or anything which you need, I'll probably try to answer them. Yeah, go Corona is the app. See if it's completed. Okay, it's still doing this. Yeah, it's done it, I think. Yarn dev. They should start up the app in localhost 3000. Okay, yeah, so this has started up the Sapper basic template app which we have it. Let's open up VS Code and see how this looks like. Folder, it should be go Corona. No. Okay, so this is the basic component structure of a Svelte app. We have routes and we have components. So this I believe is the main route which we are dealing with right now. Let's see what it says. Yeah, src routes index.svelte. This is src routes index.svelte. So try editing this file. Let's say I edited this, if it makes any changes. Oh, it does. It's very fast, it's very quick. So yeah, okay, now let's start off with the app. So what our app will look like right now is that we'll have a couple of blocks here, maybe 3 blocks. One block telling us the number of persons that have been infected. The second block will tell us the people that have recovered, and the third block would be for people that have died of corona. So yeah, this is how we are going to have the basic frame of our app, and then below it will probably have a chart where we'll show the percentage of death by recovery. So yeah, let's get started. We'll need to have the UI in place first, so let's do that. I'll get rid of everything here. I don't need all this. The Svelte head, this Sapper project temple is very similar to next head, where we can change the title of our page. So this, let's call this go Corona, same name as our app, and everything else is gone because I don't have it. Let's get rid of the styles as well. We'll do that ourselves. Okay, so now what we'll have is we'll have 3 blocks here. So let's call this row container. Inside row container we'll have 3 blocks here. infected, infected. Let's call this recovered deaths. Okay, we have infected, recover, and deaths. So we'll need to stack them side by side. So row container, display grid, display grid template columns, 1fr. Okay, this works. infected, recovered, not recovered, deaths. So we have the three classes. Now we'll just need to fill them up with colors. So okay, we'll also, they'll have a lot of shared styles here, I'm guessing, because just the background color I'm planning on having them different. Otherwise the basic structure of all these three blocks would be the same. So let's also call them blocks. Let me try. 1 sec. That was a so the block would have 7 padding of 10 pixels, height of 100 pixels, and the background would be dependent on these. Background blue for infected, there won't be a comma. Recovered, and this will be deaths for recovered. Let me give it a green color. Not for deaths, should be there for recovered. And for deaths, let's call it red. Okay, so this is where our numbers would come up, as in these many people have died, recovered, and have been infected. They're stacked together. Let me also give them a great gap of 10 pixels so that they have some space. Okay, it's good. Let me look at the comments. Looks like I can't make it to the end of the session. It's interesting mistake. Please. Many thanks. Okay, I was looking at the comments there. Okay, so what we can do is that for these backgrounds here, to make them look more good, we can use the Css Gradient Creator, which I personally like a lot. So this is what I've done. I've already created the gradients for the specific types. The, as in by types I mean deaths, infected, and recovered. So I'm just going to reuse here. So let me just pull all those tiles from here. So we have got recovered, we've got deaths, and then we've got infected as well. Yes, what's deaths and sketch panning is 20 pixels. Font size, let's make it a bit larger, 20 pixels. Okay, let's see how it looks right now, how that looks. Okay, this is how it looks with the gradients. We'll also need to put some numbers in there, so let's just put some random numbers in there. Let's say 100,000 people are infected, out of which 700 people have recovered, and we'll populate it with the real data once we fetch the data. But yeah, for now, deaths would be say 50 people. that died. So yeah, okay, it looks good. Ideally we would want them on the next line, so let's see how we do that. Let me just okay, let's call it total, not total infected would be total infected, total recovered, and total deaths. Okay, I think it looks good now. Let me also give this border radius of 4 pixels. Okay, we've got the rounded edges. Okay, now what we'll try to do is that populate this data here from an external source. So for that, what you can do is that in the description of the video I have attached a couple of links which are the APIs that we can use to fetch the data. So we are going to do that, but before we do that, we can see that these components here, as in these cards here, are something which we can reuse, right? The basic so the only thing that's different between these are the numbers and the background. So we can make it a simple component and then reuse the code there. So that's what I'm going to do. So this part here will become one card for me. So yeah, let's create a new component here which I'll call it card dot swell. Okay, it will have the script tag. It will also have style and the DOM, which I'll just copy from here and paste. Okay, and I think I'll also need to get the styles from there. I'll need block deaths, block, anything from block onwards I'll need. Copy it and paste it inside our style component. So yeah, that's there. So what we want to do is that we want to use this same component for all the 3 types, and then how we render is going to be defined by the user, as in we are going to send it a type as a prop. So let's do this. So we are going to export. Remember we used to remember when we learned the basics of components that we could, for it to become a prop, for a variable to become a prop, we had to export it. So yeah, let me export let type. There is no TypeScript here, so type we cannot define, as in whether type will be a string or a number, but yeah, for now we'll just use plain JavaScript. I've exported type. So let me just import my component here. There is no script tag here. Script tag here. Import components card dot svelte. Let's use a card component here instead of using okay. It's rendering the one component that we have here, which is just this. So we'll need 2 more. It will have a type. Type will be infected, recovered, and deaths. So yeah, but now it's not taking the type based on the prop because we have not mapped it here in a card. So that's what we're going to do now. So type is here. So total, instead of deaths, it will become total type, and instead of deaths, this should also become type. We are probably going to use, does this syntax work? I think it should. Okay, it works now. So total infected, total recovered, and total deaths. So what we also want is that this value should also be data from the prop. So let's make this prop as well. This is going to be a value. So so 1740. Okay, yeah, so we have that in place now. So what we want to do now is, one second, what we want to do now is to have this value here get populated from our external data. So if you look at the description, there is an external link that we have used, that is the global and country specific data. Open it up. So yeah, this is what it's called. It's called corona.lmao.ninja. I don't know why there's LMAO inside this, but yeah, we have that. So what we want is to get the data for all the countries for initial block, right? So let's do that. So according to doc, it says get all totals. How does it look? Yeah, corona.ninja.all, right? So in our main component, okay, I don't need these styles anymore actually, so I can just get rid of them. Okay, so we are going to do it when the component mounts, right? So I'll need to import the on mount function that we have on mount. So we have on mount. Okay, now I'm not going to have the bracket error that I had in the REPL, because VS Code is going to help me here. Okay, so yeah, on mount will be an async function because I want to get some data here. So const response I would await fetch and then data and then okay, let me define the data here first. Data is initialized, data is defined here. Let me set data is equals to await response.json, right? So let me log out data and see how it looks if everything went well. Okay, data is an object. It gives us cases, deaths and recovered, and also updated and active and affected countries as well. But for now we need cases, recovered and deaths, right? So for the value it would be data dot cases, data dot COVID, and data dot deaths, right? Okay, just cannot treat property of undefined. Why does it say that? I think it's trying to do that because it's not fetched yet. Still says it cannot find data of undefined. Let me see what I'm missing there. Okay, I'm probably trying to use it before it's been. If data.cases exists, data.cases, otherwise 0. Same thing for this as well. Okay, this should work, I'm guessing. Okay, still says it cannot treat from It is okay. I probably need that's because data does not exist at all. Now it will try to look for data.cases. Okay, yeah. So this is the total number of infected people, total recovered and total deaths. So yeah, now I think it looks better. Now we have got actual data coming in from the external API that we have got. Hi Pramit. Yeah. Okay, so now what we are going to do here is, yeah, hi Srati, thanks for that. So see, we are just going to make it look better, as in add in a bit of commas and all. So we can remove that. Srati say if data exists. No, thanks for that. It says undefined for a brief point of time. I don't know why it says it should ideally to start from 0, right? And if I have it work. Yeah, if we use data.cases, it tries to look for data.cases as well, so it doesn't fall back to undefined. Rangaswamy asks, how do you know the promise is resolved? So we are using the async await syntax here. So data will only be set once the promise has been resolved. So unless the promise has been resolved, data will never be set. And if the data is not being set, we'll always be showing 0, right? So this is how we are, the await syntax. We are not using dot, then we are not using promises here. We are using the async await syntax. So what it does is that it waits for data to be set, and it waits for the promise to be resolved and then sets it to data. So till the time it's set, I'm just keeping it to 0, and after it's set, I'm just using the data.cases, right? I'm sorry. So yeah, that's how it does. Then give interest for this first page. Data.deaths. Thanks. Okay, let's just make it look a bit better. I'll use JSINTL. I'll just use the number formatting, this one, just to have it look a bit better. The value, no until I do not. Okay, yeah, now I've got the commas and everything. Now it works as expected. Okay, so now we have got the data from, how are you in the error? Then Rangaswamy, we are not doing error handling here. So ideally what we should do is that if 1 second. Okay, so here if we do not get an error here, what we can do is we can catch the error, as in the response will have the error, right, if it does not give us data. So we can catch the error here and say that okay, data is not, we are not able to fetch data, and then show something here as in unable to fetch data, please try again. So other than that, there's also another syntax for Svelte where we can, how do you go with data fetch error? I mean data, that's, yeah. There's another syntax where you can render the block based on the promise. I think it's called an await block, which I haven't covered actually. Where is it? Yeah, this is the await block. So if we take a look at the show me, yeah, so what it does is that it awaits the promise. So you can show a loader there, show the loader while the promise is being resolved, and then once it gets resolved, you can use colon then and then do it. For us to use this, we'll need to assign the promise to an actual request that we are making. I'm guessing, yeah, this is what we are doing. So yeah, but for our case we are not doing that, as in because it's a light request, it's going to pass most of the times. But yeah, error handling is something which we should do, but I haven't done. So maybe if someone can do that once it's complete, I can maybe do another screencast doing it properly with error handlers and authorization headers and everything, but I'm not covering that as of now. So yeah, that's the, let's try to get a chart here for now. Let's I'll use chart.js for that. It started installation npm install chart.js. Yarn at chart.js. Okay, so that's there. To use it, integration, webpack rollup. We are using webpack, so let's use this here. Chart.js card, and for us to use this, we need to have a canvas defined. So this is how the canvas would be, and then let me just put this entire thing inside the. Okay, we want to draw the chart after we mount the data, right? So we ideally want it to be here. A chart, this should show up some form of a chart. Okay, we've got the basic bar chart here. So the data that we have is infected versus recovered versus death. I think I'm going to do it inside a pie chart so that we can look at the the percentage of people who have been infected versus the number of people who have recovered and total deaths. Rangaswamy, I don't think we have all of the latest ES 2020 features in Svelte, because I was trying a couple of features like null coalescing and all chain optional chaining that was not working in Svelte. So if you want to try it, you'll probably need to have a Babel plugin for that. I haven't tried that, but yes, if any of you have tried it, just let us know in the comments. Maybe the next time we do, we can probably add it. So yeah, anyways, I was going to add a pie chart here. So where is the pie chart? Donut and pie. Has to be type of pie. Labels. Data. How does the data look? Okay, data says 10, 20, 30. So data would be data dot infected, data dot recovered, data dot deaths, right? Don't need all of those labels. Okay. I'll see what to do with the labels later. So background color, I just have 3 data sets here, so this one should do it. Do not need any options. 1 second. Okay, let's see if it draws the chart for us. Okay, it does, but I had data infected, data recovered, and data death. It is just showing me 2 values as 2 yellow. Please remove green. Infected, this one will be recovered, and this one will be deaths. Make any better? Okay, for some reason it's not getting the infected data. Why is that so? Oh, it's cases, of course, and it's not infected. Okay, we've got this. Okay, we just need to change the colors to match it with our basic colors. We do not need a border color. So for infected, let's use this color that we have been using. This is infected. This is, I think, the color for recovered. Recovered. I don't know why I have the fourth data here. And for deaths, I'm using this color here. Let's see, it should draw it up now. Okay, so now we have success. Okay, let's just make the chart a bit smaller now. It kind of looks too big. Chart container would be chart container max width of 400 pixels. Should do it. Yeah, okay, so we have got our chart now, so which says infected versus recovered versus total deaths. So we can use multiple charts here as well. Also, we can use data.cases. Yeah, thanks, Harsh. Yeah, so yeah, we have successfully drawn a chart here. So what we can do is that we can also have the chart update based on the names of the countries, and then we can also have a time versus cases chart which I have built. So what I'll do is that probably in the description of this video, I'll add a link to the repo where I've created all this, where you can take a look at the code closely to get a hang of what I've been doing. So yeah, basically that's what I've not covered error handling here. So if that's something which you guys need to do, you'll probably need to do it yourself, or maybe wait for the next time I do that. But yeah, that's there. So yeah, I'm going to leave it here at this. There's a lot more which we could have done, which we can probably do, but it's going to take a lot of time, and it's probably more interesting when you do it yourself instead of having watch someone else do it. So I think the basics of Svelte have been covered. I think you need to take a look at the docs so that you guys have a better idea of how that's done. And we have created a Sapper template, added some async data, and then populated a chart using that data. So as of now, I think that should be enough for now. If any of you guys have any more questions, can you guys please put it there for me. I'm going to hang around in the chart for a couple of seconds, and then I'm going to close the stream. So yeah, waiting for questions. Okay guys, I think that should wait for the stream. I'm sorry if I missed out a couple of things. I think it will get better as I stream more. But yeah, I think I covered some of the basics which when you get started off would help you. But the best place for learning Svelte is the Svelte docs itself, and then once you get a hang of Svelte, you can start off with a basic Sapper project. Would you use Svelte over React for your web project? Sanket, not as of now. Not as of now. I say this because React has a much larger ecosystem, as in for multiple components. We have got more UI libraries for React. We have a design system for React. We have multiple design systems for React rather. So not as of now for large scale web projects. Getting started as of now, I think it's great, but yeah, once we once it evolves, maybe it's been a year, I think, with Svelte. They've been working on it for more than a year, but it's been a year when Svelte actually became popular. So yeah, once we do that, I think people who use React will love Svelte because it looks very simple. It's easier. It's almost as easy as JavaScript itself, because it is just plain JavaScript, just a couple of syntactical sugar, if you might call it. But yeah, that's it. Okay guys, I think that should be it. I'll be closing my stream now. Thank you so much for hanging around. Next time, I think this, I'm hoping the stream would be more interesting, and I, yeah, that should be it. Thank you guys. See you. Bye bye.